Welcome to another episode of It's Life. I'm JT, and we have Mrs. Shenell Tough. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good, cuz. How are you today?
I can't complain. I can't complain at all. I appreciate you letting me interview today.
Appreciate you allowing me to do so.
Okay. So you grew up in Chicago on the west side, correct?
Yes, sir. All my life, born and raised.
What area was it?
It was right off of Central Park in Augusta, which is 1000 North, 3600 West.
Okay.
And so we were, closest big streets from us was Chicago Avenue, Hamlin, Holman area.
How was it growing up in that area?
As a kid, it was fancy free. We did what we wanted to do. We came and go as we pleased. No such thing as curfews. No such thing as, worrying about if we went to the store by ourselves or went up the street to the restaurant on Chicago Avenue. It just was the safest place that we knew within the blocks that surrounded us, because we knew everybody.
Okay.
And everybody knew us, and they knew whose kids we were, and we knew who their kids were, and who their moms and uncles were, and there was no such thing as little girls being afraid of men or vans or someone walking up on them and pulling them into the alley. Those things just did not happen. It just didn't happen.
Okay. So coming up at home, was it mom and dad around, or was just
Just mom. Dad was around, but he didn't live with us. Mom and dad weren't together at the time. But I knew him and his family and was always with them on the weekends.
Okay.
But growing up, it was mom, and it was almost this traditional thing that we don't call traditional, but it is. You grew up in grandma's house too.
Right.
Grandma was around.
Okay.
We had a family building. Actually, and later down the road, as I got a little bit older, maybe a couple of years older, there were two family buildings right across the street from each other. But we grew up originally in a family building that included my grandmother and your grandmother, who happens to be sisters, and so that's how we are related, because we're second cousins. And so so it was a family building, and so everybody in the building was family. People that stayed next door and on either side of us and across the street and down the street had already been in that neighborhood for a few years before we got there. At the time that we moved on that block, I probably had to be about 4 years old.
Okay.
Because we were living on the block next to it, the 900 block, but we moved to the 1000 block when your grandmother and my grandmother decided to co-own a building together. And it would be a family building for the purpose of raising their children and grandchildren. And so everybody just knew everybody. And so that's how we grew up. And so if my mom wasn't home, or your grandmother wasn't home, your great-grandmother was home, because it was your great-grandmother and my grandmother. So it was always somebody in the building raising us, making sure that we came home from school, making sure we went to school.